Classic WoW Hardcore. Is it a success or a failure? Have you guys tried out Classic WoW Hardcore? How many of you guys have played it? No? Oui. Okay. About half and half.
Classic WoW Hardcore. Good for the community, bad and divisive. A movement in the World of Warcraft community that will continue to yield fruit for years to come, or a mere blip on the radar. Today, we're going to be talking and seeing the comments from the World of Warcraft community. You guys, in regards to Classic WoW Hardcore, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and what the future of Classic WoW Hardcore really is going to look like. But before we dive into all that, we do have to thank this channel's sponsor, Zygor. If you are looking for the ultimate leveling...
I have to say, like, I think Hardcore WoW has a lot more exposure than it has popularity. It's one of those things that's, like, really fun to watch, but not that fun to actually do, like, personally.
Achievement farming, mount collecting, gold
like
making,
GTA RP.
hardcore,
Yeah,
getting
exactly
to level
like
60, whatever guide, then Zygor is what you got to check out, and it's linked down below in the description. All right, so first of all, it goes without saying that people absolutely love Hardcore Classic. No BS about it. This has been the thing for like the past year and a half or however long this has been going on. Tournaments and events, all sorts of stuff. I went onto Twitter and I asked everybody, hey, what do you guys think about Classic WoW Hardcore? And the amount of positive reception that this tweet got was insane. People like Michael Loda did not give us a load of garbage when he said,
Jesus Christ, it's one of my viewers. Oh, it's one of my fucking viewers. All right. Yep, here we go.
Good incentive and challenge to play the old game again. So yeah, very good move from Blizzard. That's the way to go. You take Vanilla Classic, you innovate, and you figure out new ways to play the game.
Exactly,
I
he's
agree.
right.
We got people like Ainsley saying, there is nothing more fun to me than leveling a healer to level 10 solely to help those who bite off more than they can chew in the Elwyn Murloc camps. For this reason alone, it's a success. Dude, you are a godsend.
Yep.
Okay? The people like you have...
No, they are usurping the natural order of life and death. This is how we got the Shadowlands. Let them die. It's what they deserve.
Saved my life so many times in Hardcore, and I cannot be more thankful for it. The Archdruid says, I'm absolutely glued to Hardcore. Because people rip and go again, the starter zones are always full and vibrant. This also means that you can pick it up at any time without feeling like you missed out or started too late, because people will always be dying and going again. Ever since Classic Hardcore...
I think that people will probably not keep going again. You know, there's like obviously going to be a timeline for this. Like how popular is something. Like it's very hard for me to say. Like, if I go and I look at the server, right? Here's one way to take a look, right? I'll go to World of Warcraft Classic, and I'll load up the game. We'll see how many servers are in WoW Classic, right? It's like that with every game. Yeah. Oh, it's loud. Give me a minute. If you look at Hardcore, there are literally 2 servers. That's it. There are only 2 servers. There are a lot of Classic Era servers. Many of these are linked together, however. Keep that in mind. And if I go and I log on to this character, how many people are on, or like are using the auction house, for example, right? I think that's a good way to look at it. How many things are in the auction house? 70,000. That is a pretty good amount of things on the auction house. I'm going to be honest, it is. But the truth is that this is one singular server. So it looks like there's a lot of people playing the game, but it is all on one server. Which is, it doesn't mean that like you'll have a great experience, because like really ask yourself this question. How does it matter to you if like there's a bunch of people on another server playing the game? No, it doesn't really matter to you. It has nothing to do with you. But what I'm saying is that you can't say that it's like super, super popular whenever it just has one populated server. Like, you know, compared to like Wrath Classic, or compared to, like, let me actually look and see. It has layers. You're right that it has layers, but let's compare it to Wrath Classic. I'm gonna go on a server that's pretty populated. Oh, I have to sign this again. This is me promising I won't use the N word. So like, let's see how many things are on this auction house. There's 173,000. And this is one server. Now, to be fair, this is like one of the biggest servers. But all I'm trying to do is like explain that while WoW Classic is very popular, like hardcore is popular, 10 WoW Classic hardcore players look like 100 WoW Wrath players or retail players. Just because of the fact that it's like just more intrinsically interesting to watch. Like Dorky said it in chat. He said Classic WoW hardcore is very similar to GTA RP. And I think that's accurate. I die in hardcore, so it's not question. Just joined. What's his point? I'm just saying, like, while the game is popular, and I'm not trying to take away from that, I am trying to compartmentalize it and say it is popular, but it's not as popular as people make it out to be, because the amount of coverage of the game is not proportional to the amount of people playing it. Does that make sense? That's the only thing I'm trying to say and show. There's EU servers too? Really? So you're saying there's not EU servers for Wrath? That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Really started popping off, the sense of community that this movement, this type of World of Warcraft has fostered has been incredible.
I'm going to tell you why Classic WoW hardcore is popular and why people like it. It's because it feels like WoW used to in vanilla. Because you have to do things that aren't min-max. That's the reason why. And on top of that, there's no WoW token. And Classic WoW, Classic World of Warcraft, from my experience, is the greatest MMO that has ever been made. And Blizzard has not even come close to that in any expansion they've ever released, including Burning Crusade, including Legion, including Wrath. It's just the best version of the game. And I think that now that it's been out for so long, and we've seen Wrath, and we've seen Burning Crusade, and we've seen these other, retail expansions, that's just all there is to it. Sorry, we're having a little bit of effing. Once my stream PC's fucked up.
At its finest, a bunch of players getting together to overcome these various challenges and difficulties that they're all facing together. And it's true, like what ArcDruid said, because people are always dying and people are always making new characters, anytime you log onto Classic Hardcore, you're always going to find new people around your level to play with. It's genius. It's glorious. One of the other really good positives about Hardcore that has come out has been also what is happening outside of the game. There's been a lot of content being created around Hardcore, people becoming more...
Well, exactly, because it's interesting to watch. And that's the main thing. It is extremely interesting to watch Hardcore because every mistake could waste hundreds of hours.
Attached to their characters, making artwork that represents their hardcore runs or artwork of their character that they're currently doing the journey on. You even have these amazing leveling series popping up all over YouTube and streams and such, like Guzu's, for example. I mean, who doesn't enjoy Guzu's videos? I mean, come on. Hardcore death compilations are everywhere. I mean, we all understand the sting of...
People love watching the hardcore death compilations. Yeah, absolutely.
Of leveling up a character to level 15, level 25, level 40, and then meeting an unexpected death one day. We can all sympathize, we can all relate. Hardcore is really fostering a great sense of community, and it is awesome. Countess Orania Dubois, or however you pronounce that, says, I think it's honestly, meaning Classic WoW Hardcore, brought back a sense of community that Dragonflight just can't capture right now.
No other version of the game can capture it because Dragonflight isn't an MMO. It's not an MMO in the same way that Classic WoW is. Dragonflight begins at level 70. Classic WoW begins at level 1. Like, Dragonflight has a million things in it, and it's hyper complex, and it's impossible for a new player to learn. Whereas Classic WoW has like 3 buttons.
Genuine new friends, and I've had a good time all around. If Blizzard is smart and wants to follow their fan base's wishes, Classic Plus is an easy no-brainer. That is something that is currently being discussed a lot right now. Classic Plus.
Well, it's especially because of BlizzCon, right? I mean, BlizzCon's in a week. Everybody's going to be talking about it. I mean, come on.
What is the best approach for the future of Classic World of Warcraft? But I'll talk more about Classic Plus in another video. Sir Coffee, first of his beans, says, I've died quite a few times and I can't help but come back for more. It feels like every time you die, you get an opportunity to learn from your mistakes, dust yourself off, and go again. Definitely, it's been fun. And
yeah, no doubt. I mean, like, there's tons of people that have probably been playing and getting into that. Like, yeah, 100%. Like, one of the better experiences in WoW is the early levels. because those are the ones where like everybody's around and it feels like probably the way you remember it feeling whenever you first started playing. Like everybody's in Goldshire, there's people standing around, etc. Like that's what it's really kind of about. It's about that social experience and like that shared world.
Says, I actually am new to World of Warcraft and I started in hardcore and it's been so much fun. That's kind of strange, the idea of a brand new player to World of Warcraft coming and playing hardcore. Like that's their first introduction to WoW. A lot of mistakes to be made. And yet, I mean, I've seen this comment popping up, not just on Twitter, but even in some of my YouTube videos of people coming and playing World of Warcraft for the very first time and playing hardcore and having a great time because of it. And I don't know, that's just really cool. I don't even know if you guys have heard of this yet, but even OTK, that tiny little Twitch organization that bald goblin started.
I remember doing this shit. I remember the makeup artist made me do, she wanted me to do a TikTok with her, and I did it.
They're hosting a giant $100,000 level 60 Mak'gara hardcore classic WoW tournament. Try saying that 5 times fast. $50,000 to the first place winner and the other $50,000 split among the class leaders. The fact that events like this have been happening across hardcore even before Blizzard's official hardcore launch, I don't know what it is about hardcore.
Well, the reason why is because people like watching it. It's actually pretty simple. The problem and like why people don't make more retail WoW tournaments is because it's not really that fun to watch. Because like unless you're currently playing retail WoW, you can't really understand and appreciate the gameplay. But like with Classic, it's a lot easier to appreciate it because it's a lot more face value, it's simpler, and it's easier to understand from a layman's perspective.
But it like just gets people involved with one another. It gets events going. All this stuff is happening around hardcore and it's great. However, I will say that there is a negative side to classic WoW hardcore that some people have been pointing out. And this is the part of the video where we need to talk about the negatives surrounding classic WoW hardcore. Not necessarily negatives, but more so talking about what is lacking, and people are pointing it out. When I asked people what they thought about classic hardcore, some people responded like, for example, Fragile Fox, I think it's been fun, but after a while there'll be nothing to do and a lot of people will just be burnt out on it unless they add extra stuff to do.
I think that's, you could say that with like classic period, right? I mean, like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, like, look at Dark Souls 1. They're not adding new stuff into Dark Souls 1. It is what it is. And you play the game until you're done playing the game. Maybe you come back to it, you know, in a year or something and play it again after that. Maybe not. Who knows? Like, not every game has to have infinite content. And I think that this is kind of the problem that like WoW had with retail, is that, especially with Legion, right? Everybody was complaining, oh, there's nothing to do in WoD. And then Blizzard's like, you know, it's like the kid crying in like the backseat of a car. Oh, you want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about. Oh, okay. Oh, you want to complain that there's nothing to do? I'll give you something to do. Here's artifact power, artifact weapons, Legion legendaries, and Titan forging. Fuck you. And that's what happened. Well, I don't want to see that again. Just make a good game.
This is something that I personally have talked about in previous videos. Other content creators have talked about it. You guys probably have talked about it with your friends behind the scenes, where hardcore is great, but it would be even better if we're getting a continuous kind of like updates to it. New ways to make the challenge interesting, new ways to undertake the challenge. Like, for example, achievement runs, like, oh, you got to do the challenge naked, or you're a hunter, you have to do it without a pet, or you can only craft your own gear, stuff like that. Blizzard should really consider adding stuff like that.
They should do a solo self-found. I don't know why they can't do solo self-found. Like, that's, I mean, yeah, just have it be an option. Like, just start with SSF. Just do that, and if people want to do it, great.
Into hardcore in the future to keep it fresh and interesting. However, people like Joshua say classic hardcore is kind of lazy. On private servers, they have added hundreds of types of hardcore modes with different rewards. Challenges like only gaining XP through professions, increased damage taken, a food and water meter, etc. This goes back to—
I don't really think they need to do that. I think that just creating all of these like little mini challenges and everything will probably only segment the community more. I think that one of the reasons why something like Dark Souls or Classic WoW is successful is because there's only one difficulty for it. There's only one way to play the game. If you want to make a self-imposed soul level 1 challenge or no world buff run, then you can do that. But that's not the way the game is designed. Like, there are some things that are just better left to the players to do. And I think this is an example of that.
To what I was just saying, I mean, really the big criticism of classic WoW hardcore, at least the Blizzard form of hardcore, is how you have this multi-billion-dollar company, and yes, they've given us hardcore, but they've really only given us sort of like the bare bones basics of what hardcore could be. Classic WoW...
Well, I don't know. I think that's what people wanted, right? I mean, like, did people really want a bunch of extra stuff? I mean, personally, I mean, I'm not really a hardcore player, so, like, what do I know? But, like, I don't think I would have wanted a bunch of extra crazy stuff, because, like, that should be for, like, Classic Plus.
Is an absolutely huge game. Like, you got the whole world of Azeroth, and you have infinite possibility in terms of systems and new ways to make the game more interesting. And it is true that there are private servers out there that are offering hundreds of ways, maybe not hundreds, but multiple ways to approach their hardcore challenges that people find incredibly fun. Blizzard should totally just rip off some of these ideas and just use them in official hardcore. At least I think so. And then you have people like Sickett.
I don't really know if it's that important to do. I think that they should just leave these be community challenges, because even like the WoW hardcore add-on before we had the official servers, people were using that, and there were like, there's an add-on that would detect, like, you know, a mage can only use fire spells and stuff like that. And people would do runs like that. So I don't think that it's impossible. It's just that why does it have to be Blizzard that does this? Because I think, again, like, you have Dark Souls, people play Dark Souls in like 100 different ways. Like, From Software doesn't need to program this into the game, do they? For people to do soul level 1 runs? No, they just do it for the sake of doing it. And I think that that's probably how Blizzard should approach classic WoW hardcore. Let players choose their own difficulty. Let players do what they want to do.
Pointing out, you know, a con that many people have pointed out since hardcore was announced and some of the details came out about it, which is, I think they ruined it with auction house, mail, and grouping. Kind of lame seeing Lobies running around with fiery weapon and multi-boxing.
No, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, you can't be multi-boxing. It's against the rules. Like, it's just, it's like, what do you can't multi-box. Where are you seeing multi-boxing?
The official hardcore. If you want my opinion on that, I don't mind the grouping so much.
People had fiery enchant back in the day. That's the way the game is. It's not against the rules. The input program, that's TOS. The dude's just mad about streamers. Yeah, basically. People aren't multi-boxing. They're definitely using characters to follow and all that, but who cares? Yeah, I mean, like, this is like, everybody, like, there's like these constant purity tests that like some classic WoW players do, where it's like, oh, this isn't real classic because of this or that. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, people did this stuff back in vanilla. I remember seeing people with fiery weapon all the time.
I find it to be enjoyable because it does kind of foster that community aspect, getting together with people, grouping up, doing group quests, and crafting gear for each other. It's sort of the fact that it fosters a sense of community is better than making hardcore really just a single player game mostly.
Because it was bad. The reason why you couldn't group in unofficial hardcore is because you were on the same server as people that weren't hardcore. So you could have somebody who was like a level 60 with full tier 3 AoE farm you up to like max level. Like, that's the reason why you couldn't group. It was just to prevent people from cheating. It's not like this was an ideological thing. They wanted people to group. That's why they let people group to level up together. That's why they let people group to do dungeons together. So the idea that this was like a problem, grouping is fundamentally bad, is silly. That was never the case.
Without grouping and without being able to mail people stuff, the auction house, I do agree with the argument that some people have put forward where you might as well just play World of Warcraft single player at that point. It's just you versus the world. I mean, why not?
I just don't know why, and this is the same policy that I have with like GDKP haters. If you don't like GDKPs, just don't join them. Just don't do GDKPs. If you don't like them, then don't join. It's that simple. But they're everywhere. So if they're everywhere, then doesn't that mean that people want to do them? So your argument for why it should be taken away is that people do them. Well, people are having too much fun doing this version, so let's take it out of the game. It's just such a stupid mindset to have. It's crazy. It's not that simple because the fact that GDKP exists ruins the quality of the game. No, it doesn't. GDKP's running Classic WoW. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You're simplifying it way too far? No, I'm not. I've played the game forever. I know how it is. More people buy gold, more GDKPs? Really? Oh, wow. Oh, no. What? What? People are buying gold. So that means we should punish the players. Let's punish the players because some people are cheating. GDKPs absolutely ruin WoW? No, they don't. They're a great way to play the game. They're completely emergent gameplay. I did GDKPs in Original Wrath. I got my Heroic Bryn Troll through that and a number of other items as well. I love doing them. They did them even in Classic WoW. The people that are complaining about it are probably complaining because they're too shitty to get invited. And so they want everybody else in the entire game to change to accommodate them. The reason why GDKPs are so popular is because they are the most rewarding and the fairest way to do things. There's nothing fair about doing a slash roll. Everybody knows that people come into the raid and they contribute different amounts of quality. There are people that come in and they do top DPS, people that come in and they die on the boss. The people that die on the boss, in my opinion, don't deserve to roll against the people that do top DPS. But at least if you have gold, then it is a universal thing, and the more gold you have, the more you get paid, or the more you can pay, and everybody else gets paid in the end run. So yes, I think that it is the most fair, the most meritocracy to it, in my opinion, because you just have the gold or you don't. That's it. Competing against a gold buyer? So your solution is that now nobody can do GDKPs because Blizzard doesn't want to enforce their own TOS. Let's punish the entire player base because Blizzard doesn't want to follow their own terms of service. Just quit the game. Just quit the game, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're being punished because they don't even want to moderate the game. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Cares about any of this. A lot of people do. But yes, I don't think that you need to change Classic WoW hardcore just to appeal to those people. If somebody wants to play solo self-found, just do it. There's nothing stopping you from playing solo self-found in hardcore right now. That's it.
Make your own private server and just play on that by yourself and do a hardcore run. You know what I mean? But even still, you know, Sickish's comment is a comment that many people have made. I'm very curious to see what you guys think about it. Do you think that the auction house, mail, grouping, and whatnot has been a good addition to hardcore? You think it's been bad now that we've got the opportunity to play with it a little bit? Because that's just my opinion, all right? And my opinion is just one among many. So what do you guys think about that?
I haven't really played, but like in my opinion, I think that the only reason why it wasn't allowed in official hardcore is just because of the because there was non-hardcore players on the server. It was just a logistical reason. It was not an ideological reason at all. Because you could group with other people from the beginning. You could also be in groups to do dungeons. You could trade things with people once you got 60. I don't think that there was any ideological reason for why they stopped it. It was just a logistical thing because you were on the server with people that weren't hardcore.
So far, in my experience with hardcore, I have absolutely loved it. I've played characters, I've lost characters. My highest level character was level 26 so far. Ooh. I haven't gotten to play as much as I would like, but right now what I'm doing is I'm undertaking a sort of a strange challenge where I'm leveling up every single class to level 10 over on Twitch. Then I'm going to sort of then level up all the classes to level 15 and just kind of see which class I can take the furthest.
See which one dies the fastest? It's probably going to be a warrior.
And that's just a kind of personal fun challenge that I'm doing at the moment, leveling all the classes together at once instead of just focusing on one individually. But I'm an altaholic, what can I say? I do stand by some of the comments that I've seen on my Twitter, some of the comments that I've seen here on this YouTube channel in the comment section, and I do stand by some of the stuff that I've said in previous videos even before Hardcore came out, where I think that Blizzard really should add more to the hardcore scene going forward. I would love it if like Blizzard even offered some sort of rewards for hitting level 60 in the game. For example, maybe if you hit 60 in hardcore, you get a special mount over on Dragonflight or whatever, a special something for your...
I think a feat of strength or something like that would be cool. Sure, why not? I mean, you get a feat of strength for buying the collector's edition of the game. Why not just give somebody a feat of strength? Like, fuck no, like why? I don't want to see them give away mounts and stuff like that, no, because then people feel like they have to do it. But like if it's just a feat of strength, like yeah, sure.
Wrath of the Lich King account, I don't know, something, just some sort of like cool incentive to hit 60 other than bragging rights. I think that would be completely harmless. I mean, why not? And I do agree that there needs to be more achievements and more ways to approach hardcore, and possibly even bringing hardcore into Classic Cataclysm as well as Classic Plus in order to keep the hardcore scene fresh, growing, and just keep it fun. So
I think that this, like with hardcore, right? People are going to lose interest in it over time because it's the same content, right? It's always going to be the same content. And somebody could only level through Elwyn Forest so many times. And then they're going to get bored of it. They're going to get bored of watching it. And then that's just how it is, right? You look at the viewership for Warcraft, the month of the hardcore server release, and then this month. You know, outside of like Miz and Emmy playing as well, which obviously brings in a lot of viewers, the overall WoW viewership is down by a lot. Why is that? It's because people have already seen it happen. That doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it boring. It's just the same as literally every other game. That's normal. That's healthy.
Those are my opinions, though. Overall, it's been a few weeks since the hardcore movement began, since the servers came out, and I think it goes without saying that Hardcore Classic WoW has been a very welcome addition to the WoW community. Tons of people are having fun playing it. I'm having fun playing it. My friends are having fun playing it, and I hope you guys are too. Unfortunately, though, the classic World of Warcraft community would not be the classic WoW community without some drama, and the big debate that is happening right now, which I mentioned earlier in the video, is, hey, do people want Classic Cataclysm next, or do they want Classic Plus? And I made a video talking...
I feel like everybody kind of wants Classic Plus. Like, can we do a vote? Let's do a vote, guys. Vote. Do you want Classic... There it is. Yep, there it is. Like, you have any idea what it'll be? Viewers on your stream is kind of biased from an objective vote. Yeah, you're right. You're right. This isn't an objective vote. But I'm just saying, like, at least for my viewers, there's a lot of people voting, too. You know, I think this kind of does go to show something, at least. Is Classic Plus like Season of Mastery? Not exactly, but kind of. Well, Classic Plus is pretty obvious. Blizzard will choose to pass the least work here and just do Kata. Yeah, maybe they will.
All about that.
I mean, if they say they're going to do Classic Plus and Cataclysm, I would be like, fuck yeah. Twice as much content.
The arguments, the pros and cons of both approaches, and what to expect for the future of Classic World of Warcraft. And that video is linked on your screen right now. Check it out next, because there's a lot going on in the comment section over there. And I'll see you guys soon.
It's a good one. So yeah, let me look and see this here. Like, the game isn't just hyper-focused on max level content, completely the opposite of how people play WoW normally, and it's refreshing. Very true. One aspect I've noticed from my personal playtime on hardcore is that I'm now more concerned with the goings-on of other players around me in the world. Yeah, exactly. You're like constantly interacting with other players. It feels like you're playing the game from 2006. Absolutely. Let's see here. Playing hardcore has been like playing the game for the first time all over again. Yep, there it is. Died at 57. Got angry. Accidentally spilled the drink over my PC. 10 of 10 would go again. Classic hardcore is fun. A very cool game mode. What's not cool is the consistent level of threat of a disconnect, wiping potentially hundreds of hours of progress with absolutely no appeals, making hardcore a 5 out of 10. So, It's not just disconnects, in my opinion. I think it's also, like, hyperspawning and, like, just bugs. Like, knowing that you can die to a bug and you'll never get your character back, especially with such a huge time investment, would immediately kill any excitement that I would have for the game. Yeah, like Z-axis attacks, stuff like that. Hyperspawn level 10 Murlocs is a death sentence? Yeah. Like, it just sucks. But, yeah, overall, this is a pretty decent video. I mean, this is a Nixian video. I'll give you guys the link so you can give it a like. And hyperspawns aren't an issue if you know what you're doing. Hyperspawns shouldn't be an issue because they shouldn't exist. They're a game mechanic that artificially makes the game harder based off of other players in the zone. It's the game mechanics are being forcibly changed because of things that are outside of the player's control. I don't think that's a good thing. It's a game mechanic that, like, 3 mobs just spawn on top of you. Clearing enough people get to 60, that's what people complain about, is shitty, but fine. Well, just because somebody can overcome something bad doesn't make it good. Hyperspawn absolutely sucks ass, but DC is on another level. Yeah, DC is 1,000 times worse. You're right about that. But yeah, I think Classic WoW Hardcore has been a pretty big success. I do think that people overstate the success that Classic WoW Hardcore has because of how much publicity it gets, how many people are streaming it. And why does everybody stream it? Because it's the most interesting to watch. It's just that simple. Like, if I go and I look at it, hardcore, Wrath, that's Wrath, hardcore, Wrath. Where's Dragonflight? Holy shit. Jesus. Oh, it's one guy down here playing Dragonflight. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.